Oh, the chat box big as a mug. You about to get started? Go ahead, shrink this chat box right quick though. What up, Quan? What up, Q? Alright, there we go. Alright, we in this thing, man. Meet me on the 50, y'all, we here. Another Director's Corner. The Director's Corner tonight, we have Mr. Clarence Gibson from Texas Southern University. Before I get him on Skype, man, if you have not already, hit that red box, subscribe, be a sport. Alright, we will be getting into Bambo after the interview, right after the interview. Tonight is Texas Southern versus Alabama A&M and Stillman College versus Norfolk State. Gonna be lit. Tonight's gonna be dope, man. So, let's go ahead and get Mr. Gibson on the phone. Without further ado, man. All right, let's see. See if we can get this thing working. There you go. What's going on, sir?
Hello, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? This is so this is everybody. This is Mr. Gibson, head. Well, you are the head director at Ocean Soul, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes, he is, man. So this is Mr. Clarence Gibson, y'all. The director of bands for Texas Southern University. Thanks for being on the show, sir.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I tried to get you last week, but you a busy man, brother.
I just got out of wind ensemble rehearsal probably like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I saw a Facebook post and somebody said they overheard y'all. Y'all was sounding good, man. So I need to check y'all out.
Okay, yeah. We just got started this week, and you know, the kids are moving along pretty well with it. So we hope to put some clips up shortly of, you know, the concert side of what we do around here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So the thing with the Director's Corner, what I call you go by a Gip? I heard Gip is your nickname. Can anybody call you Gip first of all, or is that an Ocean thing?
No, it's more of an Ocean thing. You know, we gotta get permission.
all right, because I see that name thrown around a lot, man.
Yeah, well, I'm well known around, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just call you Professor. How about that?
Okay.
All right, cool. So where you from? Or before we rewind, let me rewind that. So this show primarily is to get more so the people that love the bands, give them a chance to get to know the director and the leadership. You know, just what you about. You know, if they choose to come to Texas Southern as a high school senior, what would the leadership that they're going to be working with? What are they about? You know, just a little bit of that. You know, did you get a chance to check out any of the previous ones I did with PJ Howard and no?
Not all the way, I didn't.
Okay, cool.
I've heard of it. You know, a lot of my students tell me about it, so you know, I was kind of looking forward to it. But yeah.
So how long have you been directing bands?
I've been directing bands since 2000, since I graduated out of college in 2000. So this is like 19 years for me now.
Woo! So you marched. When did you march for the Ocean?
I never marched for the Ocean. You know, I'm a graduate of Alcorn State University.
Oh.
And and I graduated from Alcorn. I marched in the Sounds of Dynamite band at Alcorn.
Wow.
And I got my master's degree from the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg. And I came to the Ocean in 2004 as an assistant band director at 24 years old.
Well, so you've been doing your thing for a minute, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
You know, I've been career minded, so you know, I was once I finished Alcorn, I was doing my graduate study and teaching high school band at the same time.
Yeah.
So
wow. So what is your primary horn?
Tuba.
So okay. I try to guess that. I would never guess that, man. I would have said baritone. You seem like a baritone player.
No, I'm a tuba player. I mean, I specialize on low brass, and I
Yeah.
could play. I started on baritone, but I
Yeah.
ended up on tuba. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was down at the Dallas State Fair battle between y'all and Southern, man, and I
Hmm.
tried to holler at you, but you was in your zone, man. What was going on that day in your head, man? You remember the
You
battle of
know,
the bands night?
the Battle of the Bands night.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh man, it
like
was a lot going on that night.
yeah,
At the end of the day, we there to put on a good show for everybody. So when I get focused, I'm primarily focused on the job at hand. So my students will tell you the day of a performance, I'm like a mad hyena. You really can't say too much to me. If it's
yeah.
not if it's not together, it's not gonna be together.
Nah, but you gotta
So,
have that killer
but
instinct. I
yeah,
try to explain that like the difference in different conferences have different mentality. People often
yeah.
compare the MEAC and the SWAC, and what I notice
Mhm.
whenever I go to SWAC country, I see a totally different killer instinct than what you see on the East Coast or in different conferences. Man, would you agree there's a more of a killer instinct in the SWAC, or is it depend on the band pretty much?
No, I think all the way around, everybody kind of had that instinct in the conference.
Yeah,
It varies, from band to band. But when you come and play a swag band, I mean, the expectation is a little higher.
yeah,
The camaraderie is a lot tougher. I mean, all the band directors, we know each other.
yeah.
But it seems like the week of a performance,
Hmm.
other than the fact that they let you know they're on their way, they're not gonna really say too much to you because it's still that competitive element,
Right, right, right. So,
So
saying that, beside the competition, do you have any other favorites outside of the ocean?
outside of the
Yeah,
ocean,
bands that you say you generally you might compete with them, but you generally like they sound. Could you say that, or would that be against the code?
no, I don't think it's against the code. I mean, everybody got their opinion what the
Uh
code is.
huh.
But I mean, if you told me to take my gloves off for a minute to talk about a few bands that I did like,
Uh huh.
I'll tell you a few. I like Miles College Band.
Hmm.
I think their program has just come up tremendously. Talladega.
Hmm.
I like Tennessee State. Believe it or not, I like Florida A&M. That is a different sound, and I know the conference is different. It's a different expectation, but overall, as far as a complete band, I like them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's a variety that I like, and a lot of people think I'm weird because I like a lot of the small bands too, man.
Hmm.
People will be surprised about bands like, for example, Stillman College
Hmm.
programs that are rebuilding but putting on a good show, man, and showing signs of being vibrant in the future.
Yeah, it's almost like comparing. You know how you can watch NFL sports or NFL versus college football, and it seems like I think I see a more hunger in the college kids, and I just use that as a comparison. When you say small band versus big band, a smaller band has to be hungrier. They have to be hungrier. It's like.
Exactly.
So I would say you mentioned Stillman. That they're going to be competing tonight versus Norfolk, and y'all are actually competing against Alabama A&M. You're going to be able to watch this. You're going to be active in the war room, or you're going to be able to watch it, or
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch.
okay. So yeah, how'd you see yourself getting into like being a band director? Like what was the segue into that? How'd you become? Was it a mentorship that you had somebody say, look, this is good for you, Clarence, or what made it? What made you a director, you think? What made you go that route?
I was inspired to be a band director.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in Chicago on the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of those elements that took me off the street and put me in a classroom was band.
Mm-hmm.
My high school band director had a big influence on my life, my brothers, my sisters, my family. So when it came time to make a decision what I wanted to do in life, I knew I liked music. I knew I liked band, and I was inspired by the person who really showed me a different path of life, which was my band director. So that kind of influenced me to say, hey, do something that you're going to enjoy for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I went into music, and I think I made the right decision all the way from there.
Yeah, so like, what do you think is the most gratifying thing about being a band director, in your opinion?
Watching students become successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best thing. I mean, we could, I know we all competitive. We like all the cranking and all that type of stuff, and
yeah.
it's a winner and it's a loser.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, seeing a student graduate with a degree, and then they could come back and contribute to the band program is like gold to me, you know? And that's the job that we're setting out here to do. So every time I see that, it makes me know that I'm doing the job right over here.
Yeah. So I mean, you had plenty of different ensembles at Texas Southern. Do you have a favorite? Is if you had to pick one?
I like wind ensemble. I like wind ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much because they're the top band, the top playing caliber, but they have a certain personality and charisma that I like about them, and a work ethic as well. So I like the wind ensemble, and after that, I'd probably say the jazz band.
Yeah. So you said you've been on the podium for a minute, so you've seen the different generation of kids come through. So comparing 2019 or 2018 to 20 years ago, do you see a difference in the kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very different, and it could be for a number of reasons, you know.
For the better, or for the worse? Is it just a difference in general?
I mean, some is better and some is worse. I mean, I could take a dib and dab on both ends. The kids nowadays, it's very hard to dedicate. They have difficulty dedicating themselves to something. You know, this is the social media generation. You know, and they get on the internet and they see everything, and they like to be behind the screen and portray themselves this, and then they got to make themselves busy. I got to work all the time, not realizing that they have to do what is needed, you know, to get where they need to in life.
Yeah.
I'll give you a prime example. You know, you have high school seniors that audition all the time. I went and did auditions today, and they'll say, "Well, I didn't practice like I should," and I say, "Well, why not?" You know, well, I'm working and I'm this and that, and they give you more excuses than the fact that, hey, you didn't play this well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And we have to, you know, so I never had to say no as many times back in the day like I do now, you know, but that's just what it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's a lot of challenges out there for the black band, trust me.
Well, I mean,
it's a lot.
It's a lot going on with that, man. I mean, different areas are being affected by this, especially, I'm in the D.C. area, and this used to be known as one of the hubs for strong high school show style bands, man. You know, Eastern and Dunbar, Ballou, all Eastern's still kicking. You know, a couple of others too, but it's like the climate is changing in the inner city with this gentrification stuff, man. So so the question becomes, how do these bands stay kicking? You know, if they wiping them out, do they move to a different school or what? You know, like, are y'all dealing with that in Houston at all, as far as the gentrification and all that?
Yeah, it's bad here, man. It's gentrification is taking a toll. I mean, every time you blink your eyes, they're closing a black school here, believe it or not. You got some couple schools that go under the charter program, but you know, when they charter a school, you know, the first thing they take out is band. Band is gone, you know. When a school, here in Texas, they have this thing called IR. That means a school needs improvement required. That's what IR means. And when a school is labeled IR for 5 years, then the state either takes it over or the school district has to close it or do something.
Wow.
And typically that's one of our black schools, you know?
Yeah.
Gentrification, white flight and all that. I mean, you got a lot of our people that move to the suburbs. So, you know, the thing that we could do to kind of try to offset it is we have to graduate people. In our field, we have to graduate people, music majors, that's certified, that can go into those schools. You know, the jobs are there, but do our people have the credentials to give them and maintain them? It's questionable, you know? And we don't have that influence in there. Believe it or not, that we'll never get in the high school door. I have some school districts, you know, I'll call the band director and they'll never call you back. And you know what's that about, you know?
Absolutely.
That, you know, so they say race plays a role in everything. It really do in band. You know, there's some places, you know, I would never be able to get in because they don't like what we do. You know? What we do is contradictory to what UIL say we should do. Which is core style and play like this and play like that. You know, so
well, let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Let me so let's look at something like hip hop. You know, started as a primarily black music, culture, genre, everything. You know, in the 70s, 80s, right? So as time went on, it became more of a genre that everybody listens to. Everybody's into it now. You know. So do you think that may be the way for HBCU bands that we need to reach out to a bigger audience? Would that help or would that hurt our culture? I mean, I think it would spread the word and make it more relevant across the board. But what do you think about that as far as making battle bands, for example, Texas Southern, including UT or including another PWI at a battle of the bands? Can you see something like that?
I could see things like that and believe, and I'm not necessarily sure if that would help or hurt us. You know. Those type of bands, they see what we do, and believe it or not, they do what we do. They might not be it's not on the same scale, but I've watched a battle of bands between Michigan State and University of Michigan. You know, and it's nowhere near the same level, but they face to face. The intensity is there. Yeah. You know, you question what they play. Right. Everybody talks about Ohio State all the time. You know, what they're doing now is things that we've been doing for decades.
So I'm wondering. Then, I asked about would it help or hurt. I mean, you figure instead of looking at it in an exclusion manner, if we look at it in an inclusion manner, you know, like you mentioned, who'd you mention just now? The battle bands were who? Michigan State and Michigan, you said? Yeah. I just think that if there's a way to include some of these bands that have a respect for our culture, because some of them do. I mean, you know, I think LSU, they over in Louisiana, I watched a couple of their clips and they biting heavy. I mean, not no disrespect to that organization, obviously, but I see I see a lot of influence in that band that come from HBCU. You know, so the interest is there, obviously, in my opinion.
Well, to me, it's all about the entertainment aspect at the end of the day. You know, some directors, you know, you have to dwell on two things: the musician aspect of it, and then the PR aspect of it. You know. In order to meet the public relation aspect of it, you're going to have to do some things the public like, you know, and that's mostly some of the things that we do. Yeah. And some of the music we play, some of the routines we do. I like what they do. And, I think putting us on the scene with them, so to speak, that'll put a bigger light and definitely gives you the exposure or give you some exposure that, you know, may help you. Right. But, you know, outside of that, you know, I don't know. I think we just need to do a better job of marketing ourselves and what we do. Right. And I think we'll get what we need out of it, you know.
Oh, so what's your take on all-star and mass bands? Are you for them or not really for them? Or what's your thoughts?
Man, I'm for anything that keep people productive.
So do you know, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. What'd you say?
So do you think does it confuse the student, in your opinion? You teach them to play a certain way, and they teach them to play a certain way, and they come back to the ocean and fall, and it's like, I gotta reteach you again. Like, does it do any of that in your opinion?
Ain't no such thing to me in a college setting. Ain't no such thing as reteaching. You either play the way I play, or tell you to play, or you get on out the program. All right. It's not really that serious. Now, what you do on your free time is your business. I'm not really that concerned. That's one thing, you know. And this is my personal opinion. You can't overstep into the person's free time because at the end of the day, you know, outside of band, once they leave this college setting, that's it for them. There's no professional marching band world that they could probably do DCI or whatever, but likely we won't. You know, the all-star mass band thing to me is kind of developing into a league of group of people from different states that do what we do culturally. All right. Now, there's some things they could work on. Everybody could work on some things. But I truly do support what they do. It helps for my end because I actually started the one down here in Houston with the Houston Mass Band. Oh, yeah? It helped. Yeah, I started that one. What? 2010. That was me. Now, unlike, you know, a lot of the other mass bands and stuff, I was the college director down here running this one. Okay. So we was practicing at Texas Southern for the last 6-7 years. I've been doing it all the way up until last year.
So what are the age range that you that pretty much that you see in that band? From what ages?
High school seniors, because I put a limit on it because we had separation in ours. We had the high school all-star band, and we had the mass band. We tried to put that line in between. But in the mass band, you mostly saw high school seniors, and then they went into the college range up into there.
Yeah. That's got to be that's got to be good for recruitment too, right?
Yeah, it was excellent for recruitment. A lot of people never been to your campus before until they learned about that band, and then they start learning about you, and then what the university has to offer. And I got a lot of students just from keeping them playing over the summer.
Yeah. So if there are any high school kids watching this right now, what advice would you give them as far as their audition pieces, or just any general advice for them getting ready to audition for Texas Southern? What would you tell them?
I say practice, research and practice, okay? Most auditions are the same. They're basic, major scales, 1 or 2 octaves, a prepared piece, nothing marching band. You know, that this is the one time during a college audition you try to avoid marching band. The audition piece should be something that's displayed that you can play as a musician. And then at the end, you should be able to sight read. Okay, so I encourage you to practice and always be on call, because you never know who's going to walk through your door with scholarship money. And you can't say, well, I didn't know you was coming. But these are skills you should possess every day. Yeah. If you practice them every day, you'll be ready for the money. So that's what I encourage you. Practice every day.
Absolutely, man. So if you weren't directing bands, what could you see yourself doing as a career, man? What would you see yourself doing?
Oh, that's crazy. Man, I could see a lot of things, man. Believe it or not, I don't know at this point. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been doing band too long, man.
Yeah, it's a tough question, right? You think about that. It's like we talk a lot about, I talk a lot about following our passion, man. So it's like when you in your passion, it's hard to think about something else that you can see yourself doing with your time, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I can find something that I'm going to get paid real good. But I don't know if I can enjoy it like, I enjoy band,
Yeah, absolutely, man. So how do high school singers reach out to you or apply for auditions, or how do they reach you?
Well, most people reach me through email, or most people, they do it when they explore Texas Southern, they go through our website at tsuoceanofsoul.com. You can go there. You can find all the information about auditioning for the band, our band calendar, etc. We even have our band day coming up on February the 9th. Last year we had 500 participants come. That was middle and high school kids from all over Houston, Dallas. They came from everywhere.
Yeah, I saw that. That was in the gym, right? Went in the gym.
Yeah. We let them play at the basketball game. Yeah. So they come down here and they learn a couple songs. They get to play with the band, basically. And I mean, it'd be so many people, man. I'm like, goodness. So we got that coming up on February the 9th. And it looks like it's going to even be bigger than last year.
Hold on, February 9th, okay. And it's going to be at the gym again?
Well, yeah, they're going to start at the band room. So everybody meets at the band room. And, we do the introductions, and then we do the rehearsal. And then at 6 o'clock, we march them all to the gym. And we're going to play a couple tunes for everybody.
If you you have a flyer for that yet, or any kind of marketing thing I can put up?
They could. We have a video, actually. It's on our website, tsuoceanofsoul.com. If you click on camps and events, you'll see everything. Every event we have coming up is on there. And there's a marketing video that you can share to let them know what's going on and everything. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So, other than that, I mean, in 2019, what do you have lined up? Anything you can share with us that's coming up for the Ocean?
2019, we look for bigger and better.
Well, not even the Ocean. I keep saying marching band. We're not in marching band season. Let me think. The band.
Well, you said it right, but for us, you said it right. It's Ocean. The Ocean of Soul is not a marching band. The Ocean of Soul, yes, it's the name of the marching band, but it's a complete band program here. So that really means something here. So when you say Ocean, it's the Ocean of Soul Wind Ensemble. The Ocean of Soul Symphonic Band. That's how we advertise, because you have to use that Ocean of Soul piece to attract.
Yeah, it's branding. Okay. You're branding yourself. Right.
Exactly. So you say Ocean of Soul, they'll be in the house. They might know it's the Wind Ensemble, but they know it's the Ocean of Soul. So we use that very much. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man. So I did cut you off though. So what did you say you had lined up for 2019?
Like I said, bigger and better things. We're waiting for the football schedule to come out so we can start making decisions on where we're going or not.
Yeah.
We look at, like you say, I know everybody's been noticing the band has been growing. And that's going through a lot of work on our end, with the academics of the band, as well as just recruiting, having a steady line of recruitment coming in. So we've been doing well, and this year we're looking to add on to the band to have. My goal is to get at least 250 instrumentalists on the field.
Yeah,
that's my goal for here, as well as to put us on a national performance stage. So we're making applications for like the Rose Bowl, Macy's, things of that nature, so that we can get that exposure on that big stage and continue to market the Ocean of Soul brand name throughout the United States.
Yeah. Well, speaking of branding, so if you ask, it depends on what circle you in, but if you ask many circles, they will tell you that Texas Southern and Southern University traditionally has always had power. You prided yourself on power. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so the second part of the question is, now that wasn't always the case across the board, from bands across the nation, but it seems more so today that is becoming more of the norm to focus more on power. So, how do you differentiate yourself from the pack if everybody's starting to have this same approach towards band, as far as marching band?
That's kind of a deep question, man. It's deep, and
it's a question. Right. Huh? I mean, it's just more so. You don't want to see. You don't want to see carbon copies.
Okay. Well, let me see that, and I get that, man. But if you want to have a debate with that, I could debate you on that for a minute. And I'm saying this because it's a cultural thing. All right, that we try not to copy each other. We try our best to do things differently, have different sounds, and etc. And for me, although a lot of the bands are blowing like that, I could still differentiate between bands, believe it or not. I could tell you that's Jackson State. I could tell you that's Alabama State, because or Arkansas Pine Bluff, by how they're playing and how they sound. But here's the thing, man. That's a cultural thing, in my opinion. And I really not say that because I got a taste of the black school and the white school, all right? And on the white side, that's not what you teach. I'm just keeping it real. On the white side, everything's supposed to sound the same, and every band is supposed to sound the same. Culture, realistically, I was taught that if I covered your eyes and heard Rolling Thunder, I'm not supposed to say, oh, that's Jackson State playing Rolling Thunder. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. There's not supposed to be a difference than the Washington Winds playing it and Willow Ridge High School playing it. It's no difference. And the reason why a lot of black bands are not successful is because of that same element that we try to be different. Well, if your band don't sound like that CD, you're not getting a one. Let's just keep it real. So those schools, they sell those CDs to everybody, right? Arrangers, publishers, they put all that music out there for everybody to sound like that CD. You sound like the CD, you got a one. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But culturally for us, we try to do different, because the way we play, we try to do things different. We don't want to all sound the same, or play the same way. We have to just put those different elements in there and be creative about what we play, number one. Number two, we can't forget that we're musicians. Everything ain't got to be loud, 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 loud. Yeah. If we put some variety in what we play, I think you'll get, that element that you're looking for,
It's just so many different tastes and so many opinions on what good is, So I think that it's a good thing to have different styles. You mentioned that it's good to sound the same because it shows you are, like you mentioned, you want to sound like the CD, or you mentioned the march. They should always have that same. You should have the same
concept and approach.
Yeah. Right.
Same concept and approach. Now, what you and the extra element, that's what we good for culturally. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I like the old swag. Where you used to sit down, man. I'm telling you, you used to sit down. They used to blow 7, 8 marches before they crank up anything else.
So what stopped that?
And what stopped it? Well, a lot of that is swag rules. because they moved a lot of what we do. I mean, the conference control a lot of what we do now, man. You know, you be lucky sometimes to get a pregame in. You're lucky to get a fifth quarter in. If you really knew what goes on behind the scenes, then you'd be like, wow, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of the schools, they already have, you know, the SWAC has become more commercialized. You know, if you notice, every school now has a billboard. They're playing commercials, and you get a script. That's one thing we didn't get back in the day.
Wow.
You know, they give you a script now that said pregame at 12:35. We're doing the national anthem. This happening at 12:38. Blah blah. You need to stop playing.
So you mean the zero quarter is actually scripted? I thought that was more of an impromptu thing. Y'all get there early and y'all get it going.
Nah, if they have something planned already, then you can get there early all you want. When you get that script, that's it.
Ooh. Because I noticed in Dallas, I mentioned that because I was there. Y'all only exchanged about two or three songs, I think, for the zero quarter. Y'all in Southern. So that was because they had something else lined up then, huh?
They had things lined up.
Ah, that was like, wow, that was a short zero quarter. So that's the reason why. Okay.
But sometimes you have to, you know, sometimes you'll find they'll send a person over there to make you stop playing. At Alabama State, they good for that. You know, you go to the game and they'll send a person that's on the radio that'll let you know when you can play and when you can't play.
Yeah. Outstanding,
you know, stuff like that. You start seeing some of that. I know like up here on the MEAC, I don't know, it's probably the same across the board on the NCAA, but you cannot play while the ball's in motion and you know, all this other stuff that used to not be the case. But you know, we do what we got to do to make work around it. You know, it changes. You know, things change, and all you can do is make adjustments. You know, that's all you can do.
Oh man, so thanks for being on the show, brother. And I'm about to get started on Bambo, but you got any last, anything you want to say to the people? Let me see if they got any questions for you real quick in the chat room, real quick.
Okay.
I got a lot of people here talking. Let's see. Is Texas Southern doing Mardi Gras?
Yes, we'll be at Endymion this year.
Okay, that's that question. There you go. Y'all heard that. They will be at Mardi Gras. Let's see what else we got here. Ask some questions, y'all. Will he come to the HBCU Combine in New Orleans, March 23rd? Are you familiar with that combine?
That's a recruitment fair.
Yeah, it's almost like the NFL Combine, but for bands. So he's asking all directors to be there to find pretty much the high school kids in New Orleans are gonna be out there with their horns and auditioning on the spot and everything. So I'm guessing he's asking, will Texas Southern leadership be out there to check out some of the kids?
I have to check my calendar. The reason being that around that time is the NCAA tournament. With and if our team make it, then of course we won't be there or be able to do it. But I'll make sure that I have somebody down there to represent and audition students if I don't be there personally myself.
Okay. Quan asked a question. It's a good question. He said, so how do you feel about Texas Southern alumni support, and is it needed?
Yes. Alumni support is needed. I mean, from any institution, it's always needed. And as far as alumni support, you're talking about alumni overall, you're talking about band alumni. As far as our band alumni concerned, we have a lot of good alumni. We have a lot of hardworking alumni that come and put it on the line every day for the band. Just because sometimes, and I say we disagree, don't mean we love each other. I mean, we live to disagree about things. But if that shows that you care about something. Yeah. So our alumni, because we live in the city and we're housed in the city, are around all the time. So they help us so much. Those trombone sleeve covers we got this year, our alumni brought that for us. They donate money all the time for us. They mentor our students all the time. That's why our students are doing better academically. So, yeah, it's really needed, and we must maintain that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, a good question. Last question right here. Who was it that asked it? So Perry Hollis Beaton Vet asks, what is your best performance ever in your eyes? Is that kind of you've been doing it so long? It's a lot of good performances, I'm sure. But do you have one that sticks out or a season that sticks out?
That's a hard question.
Yeah.
I have a couple seasons that stick out. I mean, season-wise, I'll say 2006. I love that season. I like 2010 was good for me. I mean, just wow, you know, just for me. The best performance I think that just made me feel it at Texas Southern was probably Honda. Our first time going to Honda, 2008. I mean, the crowd reaction we got when we hit the field, I've never seen anything like that. 75,000 people just hollering and never seen us before. That was my first time in the Georgia Dome. You know, our band first time in the Georgia Dome performing. And I think that was something that's still stuck in my memory. I could watch that on YouTube right now, and I still get chills.
Yeah,
you know?
man. Yeah.
When the drum majors play that Y'all Don't Want It, the Rough Riders coming out the end zone, and everybody just stand there like, oh man, they turned it up.
Yeah. All right, so cool. So you've been there for, you said 19 years, right?
Well, I've been teaching for 19 years. I've been at Texas Southern 15 years.
So let me ask you this. So you know how LeBron James, he made the trip to Miami. You know, he went and won some championships, and he brought it back home, man. So, you know, you said you marched at Auckland. Could you see yourself at any point going back to the alma mater, or do you think are you home? Is Texas Southern home?
That's a hard question. That's kind of on the spot question.
Yeah.
Texas, you know, you never know what life will bring to you. You know. But right now, I can tell you this: I'm very appreciative of every opportunity Texas Southern has given me here. When nobody else went to my back, they did. So I appreciate, especially our president, Dr. Lane, even our past president, Dr. Rudley. They love the band program, and they gave me a shot here. You know, so I love where I am, and so this is home for me.
All right.
You know. So that's what it is.
We got a debate going on in the chat room, and they want me to ask you who played. Okay, I guess there's a debate on who played neck first. What's your take on that?
There's no doubt who played neck.
Oh, well, there you go, people. You see,
gotta grab this phone.
You see that?
Man.
You see that?
Hey, man.
He got up. He got up in the camera, so that tells you what his answer is, man.
Who played neck first?
All right, then.
Right there.
All right, that's we're gonna end on that note, Professor. All right, man. Hey, thanks for being on the show, man. We about to get started with Bambo. And,
all right now.
Yeah. And y'all, thanks for the good questions. And Professor Gibson, thanks again, brother, man.
Anytime, man. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Later. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, man, that was Mr. Gibson, Professor Gibson over at Texas Southern University, man. Great brother right there, great interview. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and shut this live down, and then at 9 o'clock, maybe 9:05, we're going to get back to Bambo 2, round 1 tonight. Dope battles, Stillman College, Norfolk State, Alabama A&M versus Texas Southern. All right, and we're going to get back into it. So go ahead and stick around, don't go too far. And we're going to go ahead and get started back up in about 10, 15 minutes, all right?